y'all, we got a lot to talk about. Let's start there. I do have my wine, so this is going to be a very much a spill the tea moment because we got a lot to talk about. Yeah. Alright y'all, so if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Keaira, Key, whatever you're feeling at this moment. Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys for staying tuned. So I promised you guys in life update around the 6-month mark that I moved in. I actually did film that video. I watched that video and I said I'm not gonna post it because the turmoil that I was going through at that time, you wouldn't even imagine. But we're gonna get into it. So this is my little life update, and because I have a lot to tell you guys, I do have a little wine. So if you're of age, let me put it like that. If you're of age, grab your wine. If not, grab some coffee, some tea, whatever you would like. I am going to we're gonna toast a little bit because it's a great update. However you want to put it, but it's a great update. I cannot imagine that I'll be saying all this, but we're just gonna get straight on into the video. But let's see, if you're new to my channel, you don't know the whole gist about everything, so I don't know where to start because this story is very much intertwined, and I wanted to break this up in categories, and then I try to script this and I'm just like, no, we just gonna speak from the heart. We here. Okay, so let's address some things first. Okay, let's address the name change. Okay, so if you guys have been following me for a long time, I'm gonna put this down, y'all, because as much as I want to drink, I want to make sure I'm coherent after this. Let's actually put it over here because I don't want it to spill. Okay, so let's address the name change. So if you're not a newbie, you know I went by the moniker KT the Publicist. I built my whole brand based on that, and a couple things kind of go along with that. So I had my own business, which was KGT Communications, where I did a lot of freelancing on the side. I also wanted to talk about, you know, my life as being a publicist, all that kind of stuff. And then it was kind of a mask as well. And what do I mean by mask? So I work in law enforcement. I work in law enforcement communications. So I wanted to have something that was associated with me but not associated with me, if you catch my drift. I didn't want a lot of people prying into my personal life from work. If you wasn't, you know, a part of my close-knit family that we follow on social media, I really didn't want a lot of people in my business. And I know that's crazy because I create content, and if you search stuff, you'll find out who I am. But whatever, I thought that would be a great idea. And then, you know, again, I just wanted a sense of privacy because I also wanted to, if I wanted to turn KT the Publicist off, I can turn KT the Publicist off. Well, this year I really got convicted. So in January I ended up closing my business, which is KGC Communications, and I was like, I'm just gonna go the full route of just being a 9-to-5er and still talk about being a public relations professional, which was working fine. But a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you guys, I felt that didn't fit into the whole KT the Publicist brand. Don't get me wrong, public relations is still a very much a part of my life. It's always going to be a part of my life. And I do love talking about it. I do love addressing it. And it was getting to the point where a lot of people wanted me to talk about, you know, things that were happening. And that was kind of conflicting with the job I had going on, right? You know, it just wasn't the tea. So I felt like I was pigeonholed with content creation. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of people kind of picked up on it, and I just didn't have fun making content. Don't get me wrong, I love talking about public relations. I love doing outfits of the day, but I was more than that. I'm very much a multifaceted person, and I want to talk about technology, but that doesn't fit with talking about being a publicist all the time. Or I want to keep talking about, you know, traveling. That really didn't fit into the whole bucket because I am a brand girl. So if it wasn't on brand, I was not going to do it. And it was kind of pigeonholing me a lot in, you know, being creative and things of that nature. So one day I just decided to change everything. Why not just go by keairagturner? And that is my name. That is God's mom's name that gave me. Well, not my mom, my sister. It's a long story about my name. One day I'll tell you. But I just felt like it was time. Yeah, I did the KT the publicist for a while. I didn't have the business anymore, and I really wanted to expand on my content creation journey, and I felt like I couldn't do it that way with KT the publicist because I was pigeonholing myself into talking about nothing but public relations on my channel. So I changed my name. That is why you see all the name changes on Instagram, on TikTok, on here on YouTube. So it's still going to be sort of the same. You're still going to get the outfits of the days. You're still going to get the fashion hauls, the corporate hauls, the day in the life videos. But now I get to talk about a lot of stuff that, you know, I normally don't talk about. And I feel like it's a burden that's been kind of lifted off my shoulder because I changed my name and I don't feel like I have to pigeonhole myself into a lot of things. And I mean, that's about it for the name change. So hopefully you guys understand. Like I said, I would never not talk about my job, never not talk about public relations, and help students get into public relations, help businesses learn more about how public relations can help them in their endeavors. But I just want to talk about some other stuff too. Got it? Okay. So this is kind of the update we've been waiting on. And I'm going to say what happened, then I'm going to work my way backwards so you guys can get the timeline about what's going on. So, y'all know I just moved to Chattanooga. It's this September as I'm recording this video. 8 months ago, I am moving back to Birmingham, Alabama. Yo. What I tell y'all, it's surreal that it's happening. Did I ever expect for all this to occur in not even a year? No. And okay, let's do the timeline for people who are new. So in January, you guys know I moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee for a job offer, and it was basically everything that I wanted at that time. I wanted to become a director. It was still in the government space, even though I had already kind of said I didn't want to stay in law enforcement, but I was still in law enforcement. So I was like, maybe, you know, it's different somewhere else. Did I expect to move in January? No. Everything kind of, you know, to be honest, that whole situation was a blur. I never expected to move the way I did, and I really feel like it was God's plan at that time for me to move because everything just aligned so perfectly, so seamless. It was a no-brainer for me. I was able to work with a strong black woman who I've heard so much great things about from other mentors that I know, and I really wanted to work with her. Even during the interview, I really, you know, loved the atmosphere that she was saying, all the goals and plans that she had. And, you know, I was rocking with it, you know. I felt like I'm in my 30s. I'm single. I don't have any kids. I'm not in a relationship. So if this isn't the time for me to pack up and leave, just to experience leaving, now's the time. What I didn't expect was all the apprehensive things that I would have gotten when I got here. There was a lot of things playing out behind the scenes that I had no idea what was going on. And when I got here, it kind of hit me in the face and hit me weird. And I was like, dang, ain't nobody tell me about all this was going on, but I'm gonna keep tracking. I'm gonna keep going about my business. June came along and it was just like glaringly obvious this wasn't what I was told what was going on. And don't get me wrong, I do not fault my boss for this, because she didn't ask for it. The things that happened, she couldn't imagine. So to this very day, she would tell me how sorry she is. It ain't her fault, and I just want to put that out there. It is not her fault for all the things that have transpired. Maybe I'll do a whole story time on that, but again, half of that is not my story to share, and I don't want to overstep my boundaries with sharing somebody else's story. I can only share my experience, right? So after that, it was just glaringly obvious to me that this wasn't it for me. And what I mean is, I didn't have any community here, and I knew that when I first got here, but who would have thought it would have been so hard to build community, because I've done it in New Orleans when I lived in New Orleans for a while. I've done it in Birmingham when all my friends moved away. It's not hard for me to meet people, but here, I don't know what it was. I can tell you what it was, but I gotta tell you after everything has transpired. But it just wasn't working for me. And so in June, I was like, maybe I should start looking for employment somewhere else, because me and this organization, our values and missions was not lining up. And it was getting so hard for me, because I am so much of a person that if I don't believe in your mission, it's hard for me to fake it. I could, some people be like, oh, they can fake it too. I am not that type of person. If I know from the jump this ain't it, I might go along with it for a month or two, but I get convicted really hard. And when I mean convicted, it's just like, it ain't no denying it. It's all over my face. I think a lot of you guys from some of my vlogs have pointed it out, like, what's going on? Like, I see something wrong in your face. That's how bad it was. No matter what I said, anybody asked me about what was going on, like, my mouth was saying one thing, but my face was scrunched up. Because that's just me. And my family will tell you, if she don't like something, I am not one to sit around and be in self-pity and be like, oh, well, I don't like it, but I'm just gonna stick it out. That's just not me. That's not what God has instilled into me. The minute I might give it I'll give it a month, but if we still go and I address the situation, if we still going back and what's going, it's time for me to go. So by June, it was glaringly obvious we wasn't fixing this. This was not being fixed. Actually, it got a lot worse in June, because my boss ended up leaving, and it was like the floodgates opened up, and I was like, yeah, we got to get up out of here. So I was really actually trying to find another job in the city, because I was like, maybe it was just that job. But more and more, I would go to community outreach events, I would go to things, and I realized it wasn't just the job. It was the whole city to me. I can't tell you why, but if you looking at me, you'll know what I mean. But it just wasn't working. And I know I told you guys, you know, when I was applying for jobs, when I was looking to get out of, I was looking for a new opportunity when I was leaving law enforcement in Birmingham. I told you I could not get an interview in Birmingham to save my life. This is what happened here. I could not get an interview anywhere in this city that aligned to what I wanted to do for anything. And if it was for like some lore. And I was like, you know what, God, this ain't working. So I would see all these, I don't know what happened. The communication profession in Birmingham really shifted around this time. And I can say this is nothing but God, because literally the people who were in some of these position shifts had been in these positions for years. And when I say years. So there was no way I would have thought in December half of these jobs that opened up that I got interviews for was going to happen. Because like I said, these positions had been filled for years. And I was getting an interview for every single one of them. And at that point, I was teetering with it. I was talking to my sister about it. I was like, well, you know, my lease ain't up to January. This, that, and the third. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna look, you know. And then I had this sense of self-doubt in the back of my head. I was like, well, what are people gonna think that I just left in between, or you know, I was running away from something. And it really took one of my mentors that I ended up going back to Birmingham, and I met with her and I told her everything. So she's about the only one outside of my immediate family and some of the people who I work with that really know what happened. And she was like, no boo, we got to get you to get up out of there. And she was like, why do you care about what people think? And when I tell you, when she said that, I was like, dang, you right. Why do I care? Like, this ain't nobody's life but mine. If I want to move 50 million times, that's on me. I shouldn't be concerned with what people on the outside think of me during this time, because I am making the best decision for me with the information that I know. So, I say all that to say, I ended up getting a job offer that I could not refuse, because it is with an organization that I have been looking to work in for a while now. And like I said, I thought the position would never come up open. It is out of law enforcement. I am not in law enforcement anymore. I am still in the government sector, but I am out of law enforcement altogether. So in a couple weeks I will be moving. What does that look like? It is crazy, because I would have never thought in January that if you told me almost 8 months later I'd be moving, I'd be like, no, it could never say no. And I say that. And then also make room for God to write your journey, because there was no rhyme or reason with any of this. When I say maybe, you know, God had to take me out of the situation for me to be open to opportunities, for this opportunity to come about. Maybe God had to sit me down, because I was moving and shaking in Birmingham. Like, I was busy. I got here and I was like, oh, we ain't got nothing to do. It ain't nothing to do here. So, I mean, there are a plethora of lessons that I have learned during this season. And, you know, most of the time we think of seasons as long things, but sometimes seasons are as short as a Bel Air season. 8 episodes and we up out of here. And I think that's what happened. We got 8 months. Alright, sis, you learned what you needed to learn. You got what you needed, and it's time for you to go. So I am just excited for the next chapter, because again, I am very so much big on support. I am so big on community. I am so big in volunteering, and I really wasn't getting that here where I was. So to be able to be back in Birmingham, back in the organizations that I'm in, and maybe exploring new opportunities and things of that nature in the guise of now I don't have to hide behind a moniker. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. It is going to be lit. So that is basically my life update. I'm not going to keep this no longer than what it is. I will update you guys along the way, and that's about it. Thank you guys so much for the comments, the support. I do appreciate you guys being very concerned in the comments. That means you really enjoy my content, and you was looking out for me, so I appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you won't miss a beat when I drop a new video. Follow me on Instagram at keairagturner. Follow me on TikTok as well, and share this with your business and work business, and let them know that I'm still here, just under a new name, and I'm still going to be your favorite publicist. Duh. But without further ado, that is the end of the video, and I will see you guys later. Bye, y'all.